Minnesota has an abundance of talented musicians. Welcome to A Taste of Talent on the Road, where we will chat with Minnesota musicians of any genre, talking about their story and their music, shining a light on diversity in local music. I am your host, Jacob Woody. Let's find out what is vibing in the hearts and souls of Minnesota music. This is A Taste of Talent on the Road. Hey everybody, I'm Jacob Woody, and welcome to A Taste of Talent on the Road, Season 2. I'm sitting here with Haven Brunes. Haven, thank you so much for joining. You can jump into your first song whenever you're ready.
I see clouds roll on by, hide in the light they once let inside, and the wind blows by my window pane, carrying your name. It calls me home again, and I know I should have called to say that I left and hit the road today. I gotta find myself somewhere far from here. But I love the times we threw away just by holding hands through everyday routines. I miss your faded jeans. Would you kiss my mom for me? With love, Bobby Jean. I knew we're too big for that town. It was made to keep us down, like the people you see around. But you're with me, every second has a memory. Your voice keeps me on my feet, I hear it in my dreams. And I know I should have called to say that I packed and left the other day. I gotta find myself in a place I've never been. But I love the times I stored away to remember on a rainy day, baby. Out here I feel so free. I wish that you could see. With love, Bobby Jean. But on the road sometime I heard those lines in the song you wrote to me. So I'll return the favor with this motel's pad of paper and think of you kissing my cheek. So now I keep the radio on, trying to hear that song. It's funny I can't move on, but you're with me every time I wear your tee, arrive in a new city, or hear the rain like your heartbeat. And I know I should have called for you, but you'll never guess the things that I can do. I've had the time of my life out here on my own. Well, it sounds like you got out of that town, and I'm glad to know we're both just fine now, baby. I miss your faded jeans and the way that your arms held me, but I hope that you're happy. Goodbye, Bobby Jean.
Haven, thank you so much for joining. I've been so excited for this one because the first time I heard you actually perform was with the Msum Jazz Band. I don't know, was it like a couple years ago now? I'm struggling on remember the tune. Wasn't it a Duke Ellington tune?
Yeah, I did a song. It's called "Do Nothing Till You Hear From Me."
That's what it was.
Big band.
Yep. And ever since then, it was like, I want her to be on the show because that's just great. So I really appreciate you joining. I really do.
I'm glad to be here. It's good to
awesome. Be here. So you're a student MSUM, originally though from South Dakota.
Yes.
And what was life there like? I mean, because you're a college student now. How was the move? How was that?
Well, it's been really interesting. I know that my experience has been a little bit more different. My hometown is about 50 people.
Okay.
So I know everybody, and everybody knows me, and everybody knows my parents. So there's no getting away with anything. Not that I tried much, but no, it's, growing up in that really comfortable place where I know everybody and I know that I can always lean on everybody at home. And I moved to Fargo-Moorhead, and it's this great big world, So it's really interesting to see that there's more than just a small town. And I've learned that there's a lot of talented people up here.
Yeah.
And it's kind of eye-opening, just even in the Fargo-Moorhead level. It's super, super cool, I think.
Yeah.
It's really been a great experience for me to just get out. And
totally. Yeah, so what made you decide on MSUM then?
For a really long time, and it makes sense. Music is not necessarily something that you can make an easy career out of.
Sure.
Right. So I spent a long time looking for places where I could. Actually, for a long time, I wasn't sure that what I wanted to do, and then about halfway through senior year, I said to heck with it, and I decided on music anyway. And but I knew that I didn't necessarily want to be a music educator.
Sure.
Music educators are fantastic, and all the cred to them. I can't teach. And I and I want to write, so I applied to Berkeley and MSUM, and I got in both, but MSUM is closer to home. Yep. And there's a great program here, And
it's still, kind of a smaller school, even though it's university, but where there's a sense of a family in it.
Yeah.
And we're part of kind of the same friend group, and I love that whole little group.
Oh, absolutely.
It's
I know that a lot of colleges like to say that, we're all family, we're all we're all there for each other, but I really felt it at MSUM.
Right.
I looked at SDSU, and I've seen NSU and their great music programs.
Yeah.
I don't know, but MSUM just fit. Also, it's away from it just feels separate from life at home.
Oh, sure.
So there's life at home and there's life at MSUM, and it's cool that I can have both. I love them both. I like that they're apart.
I hear that.
Stop right there
I
before
get that. I get
dig
that.
a hole.
I think that's all you got. I think that's a good place to stop. No.
Yeah, thank you.
So, and during a big transition like that, like going to college and all of that, influences and a strong foundation and support group is important. Who would you say is your support group and influences and all of that?
Influences. Well, I think one of the biggest influences I've had is my band director from home, Mrs. Schwan.
Sure.
Super cool. She's awesome. I think that around here, a lot of my influence and support group just comes from the music department, the people studying in the music department especially. Mm-hmm. We're all just kind of, it feels pretty tight-knit. I really enjoy music.
So then how about musically? Who's your biggest influences that you derive, some songwriting, some different stylistic expressions and stuff like that? Who do you draw from for that?
Well, I am a huge fan of Bruce Springsteen and Tom Petty.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I know that like when I write songs, a lot of the time my phrasing I feel relates to Tom Petty's phrasing when he writes.
Okay.
They're kind of short and phrases that you could probably say in a sentence,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen, his earlier style, I wish I could write like that. I've tried some of his like his patterns like in his long, and he's got such great imagery. I just love.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to say this right now. Bruce Springsteen is my number one guy when I am like fangirling or like being a fanatic about anything. It's probably Bruce Springsteen. I think he's super cool. That song that I played already is called With Love, but it's a letter to one of the characters that Bruce Springsteen wrote about. Bruce Springsteen has a song called Bobby Jean.
Okay.
And I wrote from Bobby Jean's point of view, is what I was trying to get at with that.
Okay.
So you should go listen to that song. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Anyway. In my car on a lazy day, a road trip into a faraway place. Golden hour fades away, I wonder if the colors would stay. And I hear you play a sacred song coming through my radio. The river glitters as I pass it by, still got 1,000,000 miles to go. And you know I've tuned before, but it never gets old. Follow clouds where they fly, escaping old city lights. Do you think this town knows I've gotta leave and find my home? You live with me in a memory, wonder if I'll see what you've seen. The wind breaks me of that daydream, reminds me that there's still so much to be. And the promise that you made to me, baby, I'm searching for you. Something in the way you speak reassures me that you hear it too. And you know the whole world's fond of the way you sing the blues. Follow the clouds where they fly, escaping old city lights. Do you think this town knows I've gotta leave and find my home? Road tonight, behind these old headlights, under the stars with you. I think it's what I'm meant to do. Ooh, with you.
You know, a lot of artists they have a certain style and a certain way they have a presence with their audience, and I don't think I'm the only person to think this, but you have an amazing voice.
Thanks.
You're welcome. And how do you, now is that a natural kind of thing, or is that something you've really worked hard at to kind of perfect like a certain skill, or is it just a mixture of both kind of thing?
Well, I think my voice is really just kind of a tool, you know.
Okay.
It's something that I've kind of had with me my whole life. I remember my mom singing in the car when I was little, and it's just me going, I want to do that. So I because I think my mom's a fantastic singer. So I just practice in my room, and I just try to imitate what others are doing, my mom in particular, especially when I was younger. And
so you say you got mostly from hearing your mom and stuff, so music kind of runs in the family?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So
for schnizzle?
For schnizzle, indeed. My grandma is super, super musically talented. She taught me to play guitar, and she taught me to play banjo. And yeah, I can break out the banjo every once in a while.
All right.
Every once in a while. I don't do it often.
No, there's not one here. Dang it.
That's okay. That's all right. So I...
something I was noticing also is something, I'm a little jealous of, personally, is the whole picking style.
Yeah?
I cannot for the life of me do finger picking. And I don't have the dexterity. I don't know what it is. But so kudos to you on that whole thing.
Well,
and I'm sure that also helps with banjo side too then.
Oh yeah. Banjo's a little different.
Right.
There are different picking patterns, of course.
Do you do clawhammer?
Yeah. Oh no.
No? Okay.
Yeah. But I actually the thing that I really wanted to do when I started guitar was pick. So that's
okay.
And that particular one is a favorite pattern of mine, I would say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it also kind of just it fits the style you're trying to present. It just works perfectly. Because if you had a pick going hard, I mean, it would work, but maybe some of the, I don't know, maybe not balanced is not, I guess is a good word.
No,
for it, but
yeah,
you get what I'm going? Okay.
Definitely, yeah. I like to pick especially for my softer tunes, but
right, yeah. When it comes to the performing side, was that also kind of a natural thing?
I would say so. As a little kid, I was kind of a diva about it. Like, I want to be on stage, and I kind of, I would like to say that I cooled down as time grew on, but there have been more opportunities so that I don't have to get so aggressive about it. But yeah, I'd say it's a pretty natural thing. Sure. I've learned that when you're on a stage, people want to see a show.
Right.
Have a little stage presence. It really, really helps. And
totally.
And if your voice fails you, well, then pull out a little dance move, and people will probably be like, "Wow, the dance move was cool."
Songwriting is a weird thing, and it's personally, I don't think it's one where you can be like, next Wednesday I'm going to write a song about such and such and like this. It comes at the weirdest times.
Well, and it kind of depends, because I like the first song I ever wrote, it just like came to me, and I was like, oh, that is cool, and I want to do that the rest of my life. But sometimes it's hard to just have a song appear out of the blue, so you have to, it's like practice. You pick something and you write, and it doesn't always work out. It's not always your greatest thing, but it's, you're writing, and that's the most important part. I think that as far as style that way, it's hard to say.
Okay.
There are probably a lot of subliminal influences that I'm not quite, I don't think about it. A lot of times when I'm writing, I'm just like, how do I get it out?
Yeah,
how do I put that phrase into a way that'll fit in a 4-bar phrase?
Well, right.
No, I'm just like kind of. Sometimes that's less important, but
Right. Yeah. So do you ever get songs in dreams? Have you ever had that?
Yeah, actually, that was the first one that I wrote. It was like it's called it's called Anything. It's kind of it's a fun tune. But
what was the basis with that one, if I may ask?
That song is your basic 1-4-5 tune, but it's I wrote it
3 chords in the
years
truth
ago, yeah, but but it's just it's a fun little ditty. One thing I've realized a lot recently is that I write a lot of songs about being on the road. That song is also about being on the road, because that's a good place where I'm just happy a lot of the times. It's just being like driving or in the car. I know when I'll get a second chance, so please excuse the sudden change in plans. Would you sit down while I speak? We've been together now for a while. You say you like it when I smile. I just don't think you're the one for me. So please don't take this way too hard. I think you snore a little too loud, and you don't really like my crowd. I think it's best you leave. You don't like my music in the car. I know I drug it out way too far. You know my mom agrees. And I don't mean for any bad blood, I'm just not sure that you're the one. How about that girl I wasn't supposed to meet? She's probably a little more your speed. Why don't you give her a go? It's not even that I don't think you're cute, but I'm pretty sure the point is mostly mute. The credits are starting to roll. So please don't take this straight too hard. I think you snore a bit too loud, and you don't really like my crowd. I think it's best you leave. You don't like my music in the car. I know I strung it out way too far. You know my sister agrees. And I don't mean for any bad blood, I'm just not sure that you're the one. I don't know when I'll get a second chance, so please excuse the sudden change in plans. I think you snore way too loud, and you never like my crowd. Get your ass out that door. So take your Civic down the road. There's a zillion places you can go, but you ain't welcome here no more. And I don't mean for any bad blood, I'm just damn sure you're not the one.
You're tuned into A Taste of Talent on the Road Season 2. I'm sitting here with Haven Brunes, and I feel like there may be a story behind that last tune.
Yes.
If you feel comfortable saying it.
This is the story.
Okay.
During quarantine,
Uh-huh.
I was writing songs, and my dad comes up to me and he says, Haven, I want you to write a song about a guy who drives a Honda Civic. And I said, Dad, I can do that. And so I did. And it has been the most fun song to play. That's just a fun little ditty.
It is. It is a fun little ditty. Where can people find your music?
Well, so far, not really anywhere. I'd really, really like to get my music done and out there. I just need to do it.
Right.
You know,
Sure.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. Have you found that that's probably a crucial thing to do with like promoting and stuff like that?
Absolutely. Especially when you're performing,
right,
and you want people to come and see you. If you want a crowd there, you should
right.
You should maybe be like, hey, here's the thing you can come to and
Right.
have a good time. And I forget to do that a lot.
Have you done the Facebook events thing?
No.
No? Okay, good. Because everyone will say, they're coming, and like almost only 2 will show up.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like,
that's
I mean,
Facebook,
life gets in the way and all that, but it's like, well, okay.
Yeah. You know, I am. I think when I do perform, I rely a lot on the kindness of strangers. I'll put it that way.
Sure,
To be
okay.
poetic. I just like to see faces that I haven't seen before, you know, and
Right.
I love to see faces that I know there. You know, they're
Right.
there to support me, and that's super cool. It's super cool.
Yeah.
But I just always forget to do that part, which is one of the biggest parts when you're gonna perform
Right.
somewhere, I think. Go me.
I don't mean to keep circling back to this, but I just always find it interesting to hear other people's way they do things. How do you get inspired to write tunes? Did we already talk about that? I don't think
A little
bit, but
inspired. Sometimes I'll choose a word, like Civic, like a Honda Civic.
okay, and
Sometimes
then write a whole
I do
song
that.
from that?
Yeah, I try to, or at least
Wow.
include it in a phrase, and then if it goes somewhere else, that's
Okay.
whatever. Sometimes, like I said, I've tried to write tunes in Springsteen's older styles,
Right.
like in his first album, I love that album. That's a great album. But and sometimes it just appears, you know,
Yeah.
like if I'm just fiddling and doing something on guitar and the word just pops out, that happens frequently.
Right.
You know.
Okay.
So there's lots of different ways. But freshman year I was told by multiple people who are professionals, you know, just do it any way you can. You know,
Yeah.
continue to do it every day.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
You know. So
So do you normally start with lyrics or the guitar stuff first, or kind of mingle together?
for a long time I did lyrics first
Okay.
because I want to be a lyricist.
Ah.
So if I have an idea, I'll write it down, you know, in my notebook, and
yeah.
I'll like just get that down real quick. And then when I'm in the mood to sit down and play, which is a lot, I will visit a tune and just see where that goes. You know, there's
Right.
not always a rhyme or rhythm to
Okay.
where the lyrics go. And sometimes I start with the guitar, you know, but it's,
Right.
It's
Kind of just
different.
whatever feels right.
yeah.
Okay.
Do you wish you could ever slip away? He asked me with a distant look on his face. This old man with his long unruly hair, he told me she's saving him a chair. This old man and me, sitting on a park bench between home and Tennessee. This old man and me, spinning tales about our history. In '69, he wrecked his car on the way to GA. That's where the devil met him and told him how to get his way. His grandkids say it won't be too long now. I took his hand and said, who needs them anyhow? This old man and me, sitting on a park bench between home and Tennessee. This old man and me, spinning tales about our history. He says this one's mine, and he thanks me for lending an ear. I shook his hand. He says, don't forget me when I leave here. This old man and me, sitting on a park bench between home and Tennessee. This old man and me, spinning tales about our history. This old man and me, on a park bench between home and Tennessee. This old man and me, figuring out where we'll spend eternity. Do you wish you could ever slip away?
You have this ability that a lot of people struggle with, where everything works together. Your voice, your lyrics, and your guitar playing grabs the audience's attention and just keeps them there. And that's just amazing. And it's hard to find, but you do that perfectly.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, God, you're welcome. What was I got to know the story behind that one.
Oof, that one.
That one just sounds amazing.
That's when I started with the lyrics. I just wrote the first line, and I could just see, I could just kind of see this guy, this old man, kind of sitting alone. And you know those moments you have where you'll probably never see this person again. Kind of just sitting down and listening. Because sometimes that's nice. They're like, "Oh, what's your life story?" And here you go. Tell me your life story. I think that one was really just kind of, it built itself.
Have you ever thought of making an album of some sort or anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. I know that at Msum, my capstone project is going to be an EP. Mm-hmm. I've always kind of dreamed of having an album. I'd love to include lots of different styles of works. But like one definitive sound is kind of really important. I think when you have an album, you can have the different styles. The different calls to different music. A lot of that happens a lot now today, I think. But I think having your own sound is really important. And I think that someday when I have an album, people will hopefully go, that's Haven, kind of deal. Or if I'm just writing for others and they're like, this sounds like a familiar technique, And
also I think another thing we can relate on is our fanatic mindset with stuff. So yours is Bruce Springsteen, mine is not obvious at all. It's Johnny Cash. But I know, who'd have thought? So so what kind of started the spur with Bruce Springsteen? I just kind of grow up with him, kind of thing.
Kind of, well, my dad wouldn't admit to this, but at karaoke he sings Glory Days. Okay. So I grew up with that. So I knew Bruce's Born in the USA album for a while, growing up, that's kind of awesome. And my, same with Tom Petty, my dad loves Tom Petty, and that was huge in my household.
Probably teach a class on both of them.
Oh, Yeah, I could. Yeah.
Forgive me if this is rude to say, but I remember one day you were reading Bruce Springsteen's autobiography.
Yes, I finished it.
You finished it?
Very excited about that.
Wow.
I'm sad, but I'm excited.
Okay, and was that autobiography or just a biography?
Autobiography.
And is that the only one, or is there more than one?
It's the only one that I'm aware of. He released it in 2016. Also
somewhat recent. Okay.
Yeah. It's really cool to hear it from Bruce.
Right. Yep. Do you feel like his I've also read Johnny Cash's autobiographies, and when I'm reading them, I kind of feel like we're having a conversation.
Oh yeah.
Do you feel that way too?
Absolutely. I think that I learned like sitting down. It is kind of like sitting down and just having him like explain. You're like, wow, this is the coolest thing ever. And in the very last paragraph of his book, he talks directly to the reader.
Really?
Yeah. So it is kind of like a cool
that's
conversation.
Really cool.
He knows what he's like, well, this is the point of the story is, you're next in line kind of. I think that's what I took from it is I
love that.
He loves what he's done with his life. He's acknowledged the mistakes and, but I don't know. I just, he's just a really cool guy.
Uh-huh.
I would listen to his stuff for days.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. I have. But, okay, I'm gonna.
I can relate to that. Yeah, I get that. No, trust me, you're preaching to the choir here.
I knew a man, he was 2 years older. He had jet black hair, he was trying to get sober. He thought he was just there, but he meant so much more to me. I met him one night in a place downtown. He took me by the hands and he spun me around. He said, don't look close, but I see now what's underneath. He tried so hard to push me away, but I'll never forget what he said that day. He said, little girl, you don't know anything. This world is broken, you'll get hurt with me. If you take that chance, you will see. You and me, we could be anything. We drove in the night in his old beat-up car. We listened to old tunes and he asked me how far. We laughed and I cried, and now I see why he spoke to me. He tried so hard to push me away, but I'll never forget what he said that day. He said, little girl, you don't know anything. This world is broken, you'll get hurt with me. If you take that chance, you will see. You and me, we could be anything. Society holds its boundaries. If we run away, we really could be free. If you take that chance, you will see. You and me, we could be anything. Oh, anything. He'd drive and I'd sleep, and we'd stop to eat. He'd shake his head and he'd say to me, he'd say, little girl, you don't know anything. This world is broken, you'll get hurt with me. If you take that chance, you will see. You and me, we could be anything. Society holds its boundaries. If we run away, we really could be free. If you take that chance, you will see. You and me, we could be anything. Oh, anything.
You evolve your tunes too over time.
Yeah, they don't. Sometimes it's by accident. They just don't. I was like, oh, that's not how I listened to an old recording of it, and then how I'm doing it. I'm like, well, that is not how I started that tune. But sometimes it is like, okay, this needs some revamping, if I want to keep it
right
and feel happy with it in my set.
Yeah. Okay. Do you also feel like, I mean, they're how do I put it? Not like little golden nuggets, but like they're a part of you.
Oh, for sure.
Because, I mean, well, you got good storytelling in them, and I'm sure that, maybe some of it, if not almost all of it, comes from personal experience, and maybe it doesn't. Maybe you just ran with something, which if you do just that, kudos to you. That's amazing.
Nice. Well,
but, yeah, so you grow attached to them.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like your favorite guitar. You can't pick it.
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
I heard it said once that you don't want to write that song that you hate after 30 years, like from somebody like you, the crowd wants to hear it and you don't want to perform it. I don't want to get there,
Right.
So changing it up and helps to just, I don't know, it keeps me happy too.
Sure. Yeah, it keeps you sane and not, this here's the song again.
Yeah.
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 I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. So, yeah, you kind of let them breathe a bit. I'm also guessing you start way more than you finish.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do try to.
A lot of songwriters are that way.
Yeah. It's really, I'm like, wow, it's a really good idea. And then I'll like finish it half-heartedly sometimes,
Yep.
I hate to say that because I love my songs,
right.
but it's, it just happens.
Yeah.
Or like one song that I have, it's just it's an interlude, and it's because it was like I wrote down everything that I had that day, and I revisited it, and I was really happy with just how it was,
Yeah.
So I just put that, I just took that, and so I've got like a little, it's
Nice.
maybe 2 minutes long,
Sure.
like I love that one. But
Yeah, totally. Well, I think we're almost out of time, but thank you so much for joining, Haven. I've really enjoyed it. I've had a ball.
Well,
I
thanks
really
for
have.
having me. Really, truly.
Yeah, and if you get the chance to see Haven, if she remembers to promote herself,
Yeah.
you owe it to yourself. You will not be disappointed. Any last final thoughts? Any last words?
No.
No? Okay.
Was the end of the joke?
Oh, come on.
But,
Come on.
well, what is a DJ's favorite breakfast condiment? Syrup. Do you know what his favorite dipping sauce is?
What's that?
Marinara. Do you know what his son's name is?
No, what's his son's name, Haven?
Eric. It's the gift that keeps on giving. I'm telling
It
you.
is. It definitely is. Well, everybody, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. This is A Taste of Talent on the Road. We're in season 2. And Haven, again, thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
And it was such an honor. I highly enjoyed it. Let's have one last tune.
Sun's too bright to fear what tomorrow brings. Sky's too blue to think of you or really anything. And the troubles will come and good times will go, but today is not that day. There'll be time to figure it out when the groove has gone away, and you might be gone from here, but that's for tomorrow. He breezes down the avenue, quit his job today. He lifts his arms and raises his voice and says things are going my way. And the troubles will come and good times will go, but today is not that day. There'll be time to figure it out when the groove has gone away, and he might be on the streets, but that's for tomorrow. Yeah, that's for tomorrow. So tell me I'm wrong to put all that aside. It just gives me time to think that things will be alright. You see her smiling, walking by like she's friends with the wind. Go ahead, ask her for a dance, it's a game you wanna win. And don't worry about where this road leads, you know that she won't stay. But she's gonna smile and think of you when the groove is gone away. And she might be gone, leaving you. Yeah, she might be gone. What you gonna do? That's for tomorrow. Yeah, that's for tomorrow. For tomorrow. Yeah, for tomorrow. Tomorrow.
The following program has been brought to you by the Minnesota Arts, Cultural, and Heritage Fund. If you like what you hear and like to hear more, you can check out nijiradio.org or prx.org. I am Jacob Woody, and you've been listening to A Taste of Talent on the Road. Thank you so much for your time.